Caleb asks, would I keep riding with DeJong and Tommy as the middle infield? I would. I would. And there will come a point where this is just like falling on deaf ears. And so I'm going to let it go eventually. I would have Tommy as my shortstop and DeJong as my second baseman. But I wondered if part of the reason that Taylor Motter was the guy to come up for Jordan Walker and not Juan Yepez was because they wanted the extra flexibility and coverage in terms of having more middle infielders, having guys at that last line of defense off the bench that could play anywhere. And Motter can technically do that. Yepez could stand anywhere technically, but I don't know that you're going to get a lot of effectiveness defensively from him at the same amount of positions as Motter. I felt like it would be beneficial to have that extra bat, the thump off the bench when it comes to Juan Yepez, and the Cardinals have viewed that differently. And I wonder if part of it is like they had said, right, that DeJong was going to be the utility guy, and it isn't the way that it's played out, which is fine. And if that's going to be what it is, then it is. I wonder how Tommy Edman feels about that, though. This is unfolded on the road trip. Haven't even seen him, right? Haven't gotten the chance to ask about it. And I don't know what he's been asked by the media members that are out there. And so, by the time they come back, it may not even be a factor anymore. But it is one of those things that I wondered with the two errors that he made at second base, he'll never make an excuse for it. But I just thought that was a little bit strange after the way they gave him that public vote of confidence to be the shortstop. That's a lot of ranting, though, to basically say that, yes, I would continue to play these two guys. Like, Brendan Donovan has not been producing offensively quite to the level that we thought he would the first week of the season. And because of that, you just have to kind of ride the hot hand. And when Paul DeJong is doing what he's doing, certainly against left-handed pitching, you're going to have DeJong in there. But he's been getting the starts as well against righties. And, in 3 of his 4 starts, I think he has been nails offensively and is helping to carry the team with some really good swings. So, yeah, you're going to leave him in the lineup every day. There's no doubt about that. I know Cardinals fans get fed up with Paul DeJong when things go sour, but you got to admit when he's locked in, Paul DeJong can be a difference maker. And people didn't like to hear that when we talked about it in the offseason, that like, yeah, the Cardinals are going to give him another chance at this. John Mozeliak even said, you're going to roll your eyes when I say it, but Paul DeJong, we think he could be different. Ollie Marmol in the offseason said, listen, we know what it's looked like in the past, and we know like the feelings that exist around this player. We have seen some different things from him this winter and the way he's been going about it, that this, for the first time, feels like it could be a different Paul DeJong for me. In the past, we've said, yeah, we like the changes he's making. He sort of admitted that in the past, that was just kind of idle talk. And this was really the first time they've seen substantial change from him and the way he goes about it and the way he commits to the changes that he wanted to make to his swing. Whether that ends up being happy talk or not, we'll find out over the course of his performance this year. But that was the buzz back going into, January, before spring training even began. Had the setback with the back, and so it was very easy to write him off completely. But at this point, like, you're just going to play him if he plays well. If he's hitting, nobody's going to be complaining about that. And so it will be a performance-based situation. Will they have a quicker plug pull on DeJong than somebody else in the organization that might start struggling? Yeah, his leash might be shorter, and I don't think that's unfair. I think the onus is on him at this point to prove it beyond a shadow of a doubt that he's different, because there have been frustrating stretches for him in the past. But again, it would be great, man. I would love nothing more than to see Cardinals fans really get back into this guy's corner because of the way he performs on the field. Like, he's got to lead that charge and make it happen for himself. But that would be such a huge lift to this Cardinals team, because I have been telling everybody all off season, take a look at Paul DeJong and count anything he does as a bonus, right? You don't have to count on him to be an everyday player in this lineup. And then if he falters, it's like some big disappointment. You can look at it and say, he's a bench guy that has the opportunity to go grab more. When he came off of the IL, he immediately was given a start, which why wouldn't you, for a guy like that? Give him a chance or two to grab more. And he's immediately done that. So right now, yes, is the answer to the question. I would have Paul DeJong in there every day. Does that mean Gorman is DHing pretty much primarily? Yeah. Does it mean that Brendan Donovan might have to slide into an outfield spot on occasion if somebody else is not performing or whatever? Or does he just kind of get put on the back burner a little bit? Doesn't play against lefties at all, and maybe the occasional start against righties. Yeah, I mean, he's thrived before in a super utility role, has Brendan Donovan. So I don't think it's the end of the world. It's got to be somebody, right? They have decided pretty regularly that it's Dylan Carlson that's going to be the odd man out. He still could find the opportunity to change that. But on the infield, it hasn't really ever been Donovan. They have been pretty committed to him. Lefty, righty, doesn't matter. And I think he's going to slide maybe a little bit more into a platoon type role, at least until we see Paulie taper off a little bit. And if he doesn't, the Cardinals are better for that. So yeah, I would have him as my middle infield. I maintain I would put Edman at shortstop because that's what they told him they would do in the offseason. But if something has changed on that front and everybody is on the same page about it, that's the main thing. As long as Tommy's cool with it, and like he says he's cool with it, but he's actually cool with it in his heart of hearts, I think that helps for the team chemistry, if they want to have it go that way. Personally, I think Tommy Edman did a great job at shortstop and didn't really do anything to lose that job. If he loses his lineup spot, that's different on a given day. He's a guy that could maybe sit at times against right-handed pitching, although had that recent home run as a lefty from the right side. So those are things to kind of pay attention to. But yeah, let offensive performance dictate it. Yes, those should be the middle infielders for a little while, though. That's kind of the way I view it based on the performance.